Hey, good evening, everybody. How is everyone? This is Freddie Ewan, two-time Tpffkal GM of the Year, current Pantium Cup champion, fantasy football god. We got a really big show for you tonight. We got none other than the commissioner of the Tpffkal coming on, Rich Micheli. I'm excited for this one. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to ask him a whole ton of questions. We're going to ask him about his name change. We're going to ask him all about the league, what he's looking forward to up for 2003, 2024, his predictions for the winter. We're going to talk a little bit about his personal life. He's a lifelong Redskins, Washington football team, Commanders fans, whatever that is. Going to learn a lot about this guy. We're going to learn a lot about the Tpffkal. I'm excited. You should be excited too. I'm going to give him a call right now, get him on the phone, and get things going. So give me just 1 second. Let me see if I know how to do this correctly. I just sent him a text. I sent him an invite, so hopefully we're going to get him on very shortly. Big news today. As you know, lots of preseason football going on. My Philadelphia Eagles tied the other night. Looks like once again they're going to have a great season. Jalen Hurts is going to have a phenomenal year. A.J. Brown. A lot of guys on the Tpffkal fan board are off right now. They're off the board, so it's going to be an interesting draft. CMC is still available. A lot of good running backs are still available. Eckler is still available. Bijan Robinson is still available. Jamar Gibbs is still available. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how the draft goes. That's coming up on September 6th. A lot of guys are going to be in Vegas for that one. It's going to be exciting. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to be in Vegas or not. I'll know in a week or two. But I know that, Brian McCluskey, who we interviewed, the GM of the Sea Dogs last week, he is going to be putting together the Vegas show. And I think we got him on. He's got no. Hey, there he is, everybody. The commissioner.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Micheli? How are you?
Good.
Good. So you're out in Colorado right now, and I guess what you're doing is you're what are you looking at new sites for future Pantium Cups?
Future teams, future franchises, maybe expanding the league.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna just jump into you. Everyone's been wanting to hear from the commissioner himself. The first thing I want to do though, Rich, is I want to give you a big thank you because I'm the commissioner of two leagues, and I think that a lot of GMs don't really realize that being a commissioner is a really tough job. It's you got to put a lot of work and you got to put a lot of effort, and the Tpffkal is like a fantasy football league on steroids. So, I know I want to give you a big shout out. You do a whole lot of work behind the scenes, and I know it's appreciated, but sometimes it goes a lot unnoticed. So you do an absolute fabulous job. It's a tough job to keep. It's a tough job to do, and I'm going to grill you with a couple questions here. So I hope you're ready to go.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Freddie, for that acknowledgement. As you know, it can go either way. Being a commissioner and the interest of the league. I mean, we've all been in multiple leagues and they have a variety of interests, and everybody in our league has just been phenomenal. Just we've taken to it so well, and even the one we like to razz the hardest is old Dougster, and he was the one that came up with the idea for this league. So we do have to give him kudos for that.
Hey, Doug is Doug was the runner-up in the Pantheon Cup last year. Not sure how he's going to do this year. That remains to be seen. But, hopefully he'll win a couple of games out there. I think he's at like 250 to 1 to win the cup this year. So it's going to be Doug's got an uphill battle, but we'll see how he does. So my first question is, what's new for this year? What's going on? What's new for this year? What are you looking forward to?
We have we didn't tweak too many things. We tried to address the trading issue. We tried to address some of the issues we had as far as the cost for the trades. I think we came up with a fairly uniform idea to if you have to pay the excess fee, which when we initiated it, we thought $20 and above would be a substantial amount. But, obviously other teams had ideas on what they would spend or not spend. And to some people's credit or not, hey, Doug did it that first year and gained enough, and he made the finals. Granted, he got a lot of shit for that, but he made the finals this past year. No, to your point, he might have a struggle this year, but hey, that's the free market. So we did.
Uh-oh. I think we got a little bit of connection problems with the GM.
Country, I guess. How much of that did you get?
I didn't get a lot of that.
Anything new for this year? Addressed some of the trading issues and some of the cap limits. We did cap it at $200, which is next year's buy-in. And when we initially set the $20 and over cap, we thought that was a substantial amount that would affect teams, and some teams decided to blow through that number. I think the ramifications of that have been seen, and maybe other teams will learn from that.
So, is there any concern at all to keep the league competitive as it goes down to the final weeks at all? Because I know that we had a lot of teams playing. I think there were 3 teams that really kind of just bowed out and traded all their stuff off, and I don't know what the record was. I know, I think it was Zach who might have pulled off a big upset at the end when he dumped his team. But, how do you keep the last couple of weeks competitive if that happens again?
I think it'll balance out as we get further into the years. Either more teams will figure out how to take advantage of that, and I don't think there'll be as much disparity going forward, because let's say maybe next year there'll be 4 teams that decide, hey, playoffs might not be in my outlook. That happens in the regular NFL, and we try to mimic that. So I think with more teams making that decision, it should balance out, because that'll give the teams that are on the cusp more opportunities to gain players in the end of the year. I think it'll balance out. I think these first couple of growing pains will take care of itself.
And I think the one thing that you have to keep in mind too is that there were actually 4 teams that made the playoffs the first year and then went back to the playoffs the second year too. So I mean, that says a lot about that just says a lot about the skill level of the GMs and how skill takes a little bit into it, because you, for instance, you won the league the first year. You started with very little cap room the second year, and you grinded it out and you backed yourself into the playoffs. And I mean, that's you didn't win GM of the year, but that was very admirable.
I definitely was approached whether I was a seller at that point, and I did not consider myself a seller. I was still in the hunt. I think we have a connection again.
Yeah.
How much of that
I heard you.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and each team is going to have to make that decision. I think the consistency of that, unfortunately, so many injuries play a part, but that's where the free agency comes in. And I don't think people's learning should end at the draft. I mean, they should really continue to study and continue through the free agent budget.
Absolutely.
I mean, you and I, that's what I think was our strongest asset last year to get back to the playoffs, was the free agent budget. Yep.
Absolutely. I always think that draft day is probably the most important day, but it's not the day. You have to.
It's definitely the funnest day. I love draft day. I love it.
Day too.
And I hope everyone enjoys it. I mean, it's going to be so exciting to have the Las Vegas contingent together, and but it'll be just it's always fun regardless of any league. Draft day is great, but it's not the last day of the season. It certainly is the first day.
That's very well point. Very, very well played. And I think that, trades play a lot, working the free agent budget, and finding the right guys on the, you can find some studs there on the free agent. And also, finding guys for the future as well. I mean, there's this dynasty leagues, it's a combination of everything. You got to think now and you got to think down the road too.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it. So many players get overlooked in a redraft league, and with keepers and dynasties, it adds a whole different dimension to it.
So let me talk about the Red Sharks really quickly. I think it was the Sharkmanders last year. You change your team name as much as your favorite NFL team, it looks like. Sharkmanders have they got some great keepers. They got, this is a very, I think you really got to get your wide receivers early this year. And, it looks like you really got 3 wide receivers that, are going to be solid starters for you. You're one of the few teams that are going without a quarterback. And I know it's looking like, it seems like there are not a whole lot of quarterbacks left. The 2 top 10 quarterbacks that I have left are Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. So, what exactly is your strategy going to be for draft day? I'm trying to think. I know you got 3. I know you got 3 wide receivers. I think you got, is it a running back that you have too?
Yes. James Conner. So
James Conner.
I did hit hard the receivers this year. I feel like I have 3 top 20 receivers on my draft board that I kept in the past. Last year, I kept Dak Prescott. I actually made a trade for him off season, and I really did not like that move. So quarterback to me, and historically for me, has been a lesser issue. So I hope it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass this year, but I don't feel like the quarterback should have been the focus. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised that 8 teams have a quarterback already. So it takes a little bit of the pressure off me to get one. Last year, I went into the draft without a wide receiver. And being that we have to start 3 wide receivers and we have some PPR aspect to it, I felt like I was putting myself in too much of a hole. So I did go heavy wide receivers. Yeah.
And I think you won a lot of games last year with Geno Smith as your quarterback anyway. Who would have thought that Geno Smith would have had the year that he had?
That's the free agent budget aspect to this league. Don't stop at the draft. You got to keep looking forward.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about Rivalry Week and how you thought it up, and what and how you pick the rivalries, and just tell me a little bit about Rivalry Week. That's a new addition this year.
Sure, that is a fun twist that the league that Yahoo came up with. They sent out a notice, I guess, to the commissioners. This is an opportunity for your league, and I knew that we had some connections built into our league. And the only one I veered away from was maybe you against James, because you brought our good friend James into this league, and he's been a really smart asset to it. I had a lot of opinions and a lot of good ideas. But the draw to have, come on, Virginia Sea Dogs against TOD on the highlight week of the year, it could not be overlooked. I went with me against my high school buddy Sean. That was an easy and obvious one. Champ and Joe Moo. That seems like bread and butter there. Can you hit me up with a couple of the others?
You got Doug and Zach going up against each other.
Yeah, he lives in his basement. I mean, why wouldn't we put those 2 together? So it all fell together real well. The 2 New Mexico kids going at it. So it was a fun twist that I thought we should take advantage of and move forward with it. Yeah.
That's gonna be a great week. And Brian, I know Brian's got a ton of cap room this year, and I play him 2 weeks in a row. I know that I mean, if he beats me twice, that's probably gonna be the greatest 2 weeks of his life, because I have a tendency to talk a lot of shit, and
and he's been on the back end of a lot of your shit.
Yes, and I got lots of pictures of him at Waffle House too. So
yeah, you've been a thorn in everybody's side, Freddie. But you know what? This league really appreciates your work. You've been a valuable asset to this league, I think.
Awesome, and we're just trying to grow it with this show. So just a little bit of personally, I know everyone knows you personally. It's you own a restaurant in Arlington, serving Northern Italian cuisine, Portofino's. I've been to it a bunch of times. The food is absolutely excellent. Lifelong Redskins fan. Washington football team, Commanders. You're a little bit older than me, so you did get to see. I'm trying to think, how old are you?
So I'm older than you, Freddie. You are correct. I did get to go to the San Diego Doug Williams Super Bowl victory against the Denver Broncos. I was there cheering my head off. Super despondent after the first quarter. We were down. I can't remember how many, but that was amazing. Have so many memories of RFK and the great Redskin teams of the late 70s and 80s. It was a phenomenal time for the fandom of the Redskins. Yep.
And there's been, obviously there's been a big dark cloud over Washington D.C. with the last name Snyder, and that guy's now out of there. You got a new ownership, and I know Magic Johnson's going to be a part of it. It's got to be it's got to be a pretty exciting time, I would think, after the last 20-25 years that you guys have been through.
Yeah, I feel just shell shock about it. I can't get myself to be overly excited because I can't imagine one change like that. It's a major change, but would make a instant difference. Actually, you bringing it up in that way, I'm actually interested to see you as an outsider, as a division foe. What is your thoughts on that change?
I mean, I think I look at a lot of these, NFL teams and even, teams all around, the Yankees with Steinbrenner. And I think that really, championships start from the ownership up. I think Robert Kraft is a great owner, and I think that has a lot to do with why the Patriots have been so successful. I know that, the Eagles were never really a good football team or really never compared to anything. And then Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in, I think the late 1999, 2000, and we've been a, really competitive team since then. We won a Super Bowl. We've been to 3, and I think that, Washington has a storied history. They were a super team in the 80s and early 90s. And I think Snyder really just destroyed everything in that team. And the ownership's coming into, the ownership coming in now to Washington is, these are good owners. I mean, these are good owners. They have experience with, they have experience with Major League Sports. And I think the whole landscape of it, and it's not going to happen immediately. There's a lot of work to do, but I think the entire landscape of Washington is going to change. I think they're going to be, I think you give them 4 or 5 years, they're going to be right up there with the, a lot of things have to happen in the NFL. You need a lot of breaks. You need to find a lot of people. But I think that Snyder, just destroyed that team from the top down. And, it's like you look at Jerry Jones in Dallas, owners are not good GMs. And, Snyder really wanted to run that team and, figured out he couldn't do that right. And just all the everything, he was just a horrible owner. And I really think that the new ownership coming in, DC is a big place. It's a hot market. And it's like, the NFL, wants to see, Washington do well. And I think that there's going to be a big change in 4 or 5 years. I think you're going to be a lot happier. I might not be happier, but you're going to be a lot happier.
Yeah, I do feel the same way. Like the long-term future is looking positive. As was when Snyder bought it. We thought he was a money bags guy that was really interested in spending and succeeding with the team. But boy, did we learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And a common question with the fans is, well, when did you feel like it turned? And for me, it was early on when he fired Marty Schottenheimer, who had turned around the season, and he just let him go. And it was a really poor decision. The first of many poor decisions for the Snyder regime. All right. I know the Tpffkal does not give a shit about Snyder. Let's get on to really good stuff.
So let me ask you this. What are your predictions this year? And this will be a couple more questions. Who is going to win if the Red Sharks are going to win the Tpffkal? Who's going to win the Tpffkal this year?
No, I mean, I think the 3 that have been so far consistent, or 4. Let's just throw Bowser Jimmy, you and I think we'll still make a strong push this season. You know, we're going to play the free agency market strong. Some of the obvious ones are the high cap teams. They should come out of this auction with close to super teams, and they might not have to tweak very much going forward. Are they going to, outside of injuries for any team? I would say the four of them or the three of them are the obvious ones, and I wouldn't make a choice on any one of those at this point. Let's come out of the draft. Let's hope that they spend correctly, and it'll be interesting to see. But I can't. I think it's really close. I think once you get to the playoffs, who's positioned themselves correctly for those final three games will be really what decides it.
Do you think this is the year that the San Patricio Rock Throwers get out of seventh place and get into the playoffs?
That Chubb decision, I do like that thought because, I have the same decision with Eckler. Basically, by letting Eckler go, he's not going to be on my team again. It's just not in the cards for me to have him. So he valued Chubb as being a strong play this year, and I do like him keeping him, but he's going to have to make a strong play, and that easily could carry him through to the playoffs with Fields at a very low cost. Definitely, the San Patricio can make the playoffs this year.
I think the Fields is going to have a great year. Chubb is I'm still not sure about the cost, but I know he's going to be. They got a great offensive line. Kareem Hunt is out of there, so I think he's going to get a lot of the receiving too. It's going to be it's going to be interesting. And what you were saying about losing Eckler. I traded both Travis Kelce and Tony Pollard, who I had under. And, I basically, I had spent so much cap room the year before that I had to figure out some kind of way where I couldn't keep both of those guys and wanted to keep one of them. But, I had an opportunity to pick up, Garrett Wilson for $6, who could be the next Justin Jefferson. So, it's kind of like I'm at the point TOD right now where it's like I'm going to try to compete, but I'm also trying to look for the future, which I did not do last year.
No, I didn't approach you to sell to Eckler because I knew you weren't buying, and I knew with CD Lamb, but I do know the teams that were buying. I told them, I said, you're either taking them now or I'm keeping CD Lamb, and I did keep him. And if I sold CD Lamb, I probably would have kept Eckler. It was one or the other, but you have to make those decisions. That's a great part of this keeper league is that you got to make these decisions year round. You can't just turn it on at the end of the preseason.
Exactly. Well, Rich, once again, I just wanted to thank you for having you on. We were, all the fans wanted to hear from the commissioner himself, and we got you on. This was great. It's going to be great for the show. I know you got a lot of work to do this season. You're, scouting for future Pantium Cup sites. Team expansion possibly, and I want to wish you the best of luck in your Red
What do you think?
Sharks.
This is a good spot. Good spot for an expansion.
Beautiful.
I think it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
We haven't seen any moose today, but we saw moose the other day, so we'll keep our eyes open for moose.
It's beautiful out there. Get back to CC as soon as you can, though.
Yeah. Have a good season, everybody in the league. Good luck. 2023 should be an awesome season. Let's have ourselves a season, guys.
Thanks so much, Rich. That's the commissioner right there, Rich Micheli, Tpffkal. Thanks a lot, guys. Everyone have a great night.
See ya.